More than 2 years after the tragic death of 17-year-old Lily Mae Vaughan in a crash where she was a passenger and her boyfriend was the driver, her mother Leanne has finally seen justice. On Friday, that driver was jailed for causing death by dangerous driving.
Lily Mae's boyfriend, Logan Addison, had only recently passed his test when he lost control, crashed at high speed into a telephone pole. He was allowed to keep his licence and then went on to commit more offences behind the wheel while he was awaiting trial.
Well, since losing her daughter, Leanne has led a tireless campaign for a law which would stop new drivers from carrying young passengers during their first 6 months on the road. And she joins us now alongside Lucy Harrison from the charity Road Peace. Hello, and thank you both for coming in. And Leanne, just enormous condolences to you for your loss. And 2 years on, I imagine it has got no easier. Mm-hmm. But you pour yourself into campaigning to make a difference, so that no one is in the same situation that your daughter was in. Yeah. What would you like to change as a result of your daughter's senseless death?
Yeah, I think I just wasn't aware that this was the biggest danger to Lily Mae. You know, I'm a mum. You know what mums do. We just love our children, don't we? For 17 years, whatever she wanted, she had. You know, and I thought I was doing a good job, you know, as a mum. And then that day when she went out, she wasn't breaking a law, she wasn't doing anything wrong. She was 17, she was wearing a seatbelt. And then the devastation that follows when you're like, actually, we're not keeping our children safe, we're not empowering them. I hadn't understood the full dangers of this until it happens to you. Yeah, so it's just not good. And as a parent, like, I was quite upset because I was like, why did I not know that the most dangerous thing that a young girl can do is just simply be a passenger in a car?
And when you say it's the most dangerous thing she could do, that's because you've now reviewed all the statistics.
Yeah.
And what do they tell us?
Yeah, well, they tell us that, you know, scientists have known this, haven't they? The statistics show this, that your brain isn't fully developed at 17. So, you know, teenagers, give them a peer in the car or someone to show off to, and they will risk take, and, you know, that's scientifically proven, and I didn't really know that.
Because Logan, who was her boyfriend, had passed his test in December. Yeah. And they went, I mean, and then presumably he was driving. Yeah. And they were in the car in February. Yeah. So it was just 2 months later. Yeah. He'd had barely any experience.
Yeah.
What was also remarkable is that after the tragedy, after you lost your daughter, he's then obviously under suspicion and being investigated for causing death by dangerous driving. But he keeps his licence and he carries on driving. And in fact, he then commits a number of other offences, even before he has stood trial for causing the death of your daughter. Yeah. I think that will come as an enormous shock to people.
I think, yeah, like, I believe in this country, you know, and I thought that this would not happen. It felt like my daughter was a piece of roadkill because how can a beautiful girl get killed and then, you know, nothing happens? Like, the driver goes on to live his life, get back in his car, do donuts on a car park, whereas for us, our life is over, you know, like that beautiful girl, Lily Mae, and I'm just like, why are we allowing this? Like, until it happens to you, you wouldn't think that would be the case, would you? You'd be like, no, that's wrong. But, like, Road Peace, you know, they fill me in with the legal side, and I'm like, it is shocking, isn't it?
Can I ask you, Lucy, Road Peace charity, I know you also have a sad story of losing a family member in kind of not dissimilar circumstances. The campaign Leanne is running is saying that the youngest drivers shouldn't be carrying passengers for 6 months. But I just wonder, does that go far enough? I mean, should we be allowing 17-year-old men, boys, to drive at all when, as Leanne says, you know, they're so often the cause of terrible crashes? Is it safe? Is it wise?
It's a good question. I mean, I think Leanne's calling for sensible reform, and we certainly support that. But I know in court it sort of came to light that Logan at 17 was treated as old enough to drive. But then when we got to court, it was all about his emotional immaturity and the fact that he couldn't really be treated as an adult. And so that's a bit of a contradiction, really, isn't it?
Because he's doing a very adult thing, driving a dangerous car with Lily May in the car. And he filmed himself in a car park doing wheel spins after the death of your daughter, before he'd gone to trial. I mean, that doesn't sound to me like mature behaviour.
He had no idea, really, did he, of the risk that he was posing to anybody, or the fact that, you know, he was putting Lily May's life at such risk. And I think maybe it's unfair to expect 17-year-olds to fully take on that responsibility.
So should they be driving cars? What do you think?
I think we have to call for reform, and I think we need the government to look at this and look at various proposals, and instead of constantly saying what they won't do, start saying what they will do.
I mean, another issue is if you commit an offence and then you're convicted, I mean, shouldn't that mean that you then don't have a licence for some time afterwards, not just weeks or months, but maybe even years?
I think it was heartbreaking for me as a parent to sit there, to go through over 2 years of this pain and watching all of this, and then thinking finally at sentencing a strong message will be sent, the world will see that we're not going to tolerate, you know, this, and then to be told that because he's emotionally immature and 17 that he'll have a lower sentence. And I'm sat there thinking, this is wrong, isn't it? If he's old enough to get into a car, then why isn't he old enough to, you know, have a sentence that reflects that? So what are we doing to these children? What message are we sending?
So he was sentenced to 5.5 years, but of course, under the current rules,
he'll only serve 2.5.
He'll serve 2.5.
And I know full well, which in court, lots of family and friends read out, you know, they were so brave that because we love Lily May so much, we read out these impact statements. Our biggest fear is that we know full well that even though he's banned for 8 years, he will get back in that car and reoffend. And it could be somebody's child walking down the road, and I can't let that happen.
Tell us about Lily May, and importantly, what would Lily May think about her mother being on Good Morning Britain, campaigning, talking so bravely?
Do you know, I know she'd do exactly the same for me, and she'd do exactly the same for her friends, because she had the kindest soul. And
so she'd be proud of you today?
Yeah, but I've got all this love, this is grief, because my child's gone, but she's still in my heart, isn't she? She is. And she's still everywhere. And I'm really, really grateful you've given me this opportunity, because I just think it's wrong, isn't it, that my daughter can die and the law's saying that it's OK, like, you know, that we're going to accept this. And if I don't speak out, who will protect Lily May for me and the other children?
God, I mean, you've said it all, Leanne.
I hope so, because it's so important to me that enough is enough, isn't it? We've got to do
Where
something.
we are now is not good enough, is it?
No. And I never thought I'd be sitting on here. I wish I could be sat here telling you that Lily May had done something amazing, because I'm sure she would have done. But instead I'm sat here saying, why are we allowing this? Please listen, because...
They're so young. 17-year-old boys are so young, aren't they? And to give them the power over a lethal weapon and put a child... 17, because that's who they are to us, isn't it? They're our children.
We're not protecting them. It's not restrictive. It's actually helping them, isn't it? Because you're not 18 is when you're an adult, but you can have all this responsibility, but then don't worry, because if something terrible happens, we'll treat you as your child anyway.
And it's
That's
also
what immaturity is, isn't it? It's losing concentration, it's forgetting where you are, it's doing the silly thing.
showing off.
But if you do that when you're driving a car, as you know, that's a terrible, fatal thing.
So more experience for young drivers before they have the responsibility of having young passengers, and also this absolute aberration that if somebody is being investigated or is charged with causing a death because of their driving, they are not allowed to continue driving.
We do hear from families, don't we, Lucy, that they actually might live in the next street or next door, and they have to see every day that person driving past
rubbing
when they've
salt in their
killed their
wounds.
loved one. And it's just not fair, is it?
Yeah. Thank you both so much for coming in, and let's hope it has an effect. Yeah.
And bringing Lily May and her legacy to all
thank you
our
ever so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
If you've been affected by any of the issues we've been discussing, you can find advice and support at itv.com/helpline.